Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion. That is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to demand you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 373rd One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops. And once again, we have the honor of being joined with members and support members of the Universal Council who will be here to explain and do our wishes for today's show. Okay, well, without further ado, let's begin, and I'll get the PDF up here. Oops, that's not it.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome, beautiful souls, and thank you for joining today here to help ourselves and mankind understand his position in the universe. And the beauty is we're all maturing, we're all growing into it. Man started with a one planet village or a one village planet, and now we're at about 195 nations or so with borders and conflicts. And now we're condensing in a way back to one planet, one nation as mankind, one race as mankind, and for world peace. And coming together here to give. And this is a touchy subject in a way, not to take, and becoming more like the creator, becoming very generous with our energies and our physical possessions as well. And we've generated a number of wishes as energy, which we'll be releasing today. Perhaps they've already been released as plasmas, and you can add your energies to that. And we're here to touch other souls in a way and elevate other souls, world leaders, religious leaders, and to ask them to question themselves. Why are you killing us? Why are you imprisoning us? And you'll be invited to join as a member or as a Universal Council supporter in today's workshop. Well, also, as we know, Mr. Keshe has mentioned this in the past, how the Universal Council will sort of morph into a way or have a position within the United Nations, even that the United Nations will change their name to the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for World Peace. And part of the teaching of today, or the sharing, will be to learn more about praying through your soul, which is the 23rd Psalm. No, it's the 23rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop by Mr. Keshe. And this is where we're learning to give before we take in so many ways, and to give to make changes, which we can't do in the physical dimension. We're going to review one of the commandments today on adultery. I think there'll be a question and answer with Claudia and Marie. And of course, I think that's the final program of that program, but that program is not ending, just the way our lives don't end when the physicality stops. I think this is going to be transmuting into another program, but we'll wait and see what beauty comes out of that creation. And of course, we're going to invite people with specialties and other talents or no talents to join the Keshe Foundation, especially in the social media area, at least initially. But I think as we understand, this technology is going to touch every aspect of your life. So whether you're a nuclear physicist or an artisan or a street sweeper, I think we can all contribute in a way. Or carry a very small corner of a piece of this very large carpet. We'll review the perhaps any recent posts and show everyone where they can follow Mr. Keshe on the X platform. And of course, we'll see many things coming through there, not only in the teachings, but also in the X platform. We're going to discuss the new transmutation test. They're looking for 5 individuals to step forward. The souls will be there, and I'm sure they will come as requested. And then we'll share some of the products and try and increase product awareness in the Keshe Foundation store. And then, of course, we'll conclude with the needs and wishes of the community. And of course, we're here to serve and not to be served. Dean, can you add something to what I've said? Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Wonderful introduction to the Universal Council meeting. It's always a pleasure to hear Mark speaking and saying such. He has much knowledge. He's a very humble person. He says that I know very little, and we all know very little. But some of us have got a deep understanding of being present in physicality and understanding a part of the presence of that beautiful soul that's within us. And that's the essence of this meeting, this gathering of souls that we have right in this moment. It's that, what do you feel? What do I feel? What do you feel? What is this calling that we all feel that brings us to this position each time? And I know some of us sit in the background and we listen. And we just push it to the side. We become part of it, but only to the bit that we accept. And the other bits we just say, it's not for me. The totality of it is that as a soul of the creation, as a soul of the creator, and you're all part of it, each and every single beautiful star that shines within you, each and every one of you. And I know that these teachings, these understandings will be shared many, many times. Mr. Keshe said this many times. They will be shared amongst humanity many times. And if you notice that when you start to look into the knowledge and the understandings, you receive what you need to see or receive on a soul level in that moment. So you pick any of the knowledge seekers workshops or the one planet, one nation, one race, and just let your soul guide you into a position, and you'll find that something will connect with you. And there's a reason, because nothing is by chance, and everything is for you to receive the energy in that moment. And sometimes it will be magnetical and it'll push away, and it won't feel, you'll feel that, oh, it's not for me. And then another moment, it'll be gravitational and it'll come straight towards you, and it'll be like a big hug. And it's like that position in a relationship where you have this magnetical and gravitational interaction that becomes either magnetical or gravitational, depending upon the emotion, the plasma, the conditions that we are experiencing within that sphere. Now, if we stay in a position of just listening to the outside, so if one of us is just taking, so one of us is just, let's say for an instance, just speaking much, and the other is just listening, absorbing, receiving the energy that is given, then that's a one-way interaction. When it becomes unconditional and both sides, both souls are giving, it becomes a maggraph. There becomes a positional interaction that creates a plasma that is the seed of intention that is correct. And this then spirals, becomes a plasma that is giving in nature, giving in a soul interaction for you to receive. And we can all go to the negative. It's very easy to do that in the current circumstances that humanity and certain souls find themselves. However, when you start to receive plasma and the knowledge of the soul, you'll find that if you go to the positive and give and always think, speak, and act, the three wise men, in this moment in a positive way, things will change. You notice some people come in, they walk in, and you feel the presence. They give, and you know straight away. You feel enlightened. You feel light, and then another person will maybe come into the sphere, and it doesn't have to be in the room. It could be in the presence of a social media post, or it could be in the presence of an interaction that you've read, or it could be somebody who walks down the street. You instantly feel a different interaction, that magnetical feeling. And that's giving and taking, that's receiving energy and giving what you have as a surplus. And it should only ever be an interaction that is in a positive interaction that creates a beauty for you. So, in addition to what Mark has said, welcome to the Universal Council meeting. The soul has guided you here, and you are so very welcome. The Creator is present within you, and we are all present with you as one. We are present, and we thank you for being present, and we hope that you, and I know you will, enjoy the rest of the presentation. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Dean.
So
Go ahead.
Thank you, Rick. I will read this because I don't know if I didn't see Marinez on the list. So, okay, we, the Universal Council, give from our souls freely to all the victims and those suffering from hunger and thirst and physical damage during the wars. And we are present with this wish.
We, the Universal Council, give freely from our soul that younger knowledge seekers also find their way into the Council, and that they are accepted and welcomed with openness, respect, and appreciation for their pure understanding and service. These are our wishes, and our wishes we command.
We, the Universal Council, create conditions for everlasting peace for all souls in existence. Our wish is our command.
With the planet Earth on the course of peace, the universal together with the inhabitants of the planet and the soul of the planet is in a position to rapidly increase the use of universal energy.
We, the Universal Council, create condition to activate the 5 souls for the transmutation program to come forward.
Hello. Hello, Rick. Hello, Rick. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. So this is part of the teaching of Mr. Keshe. I have heard another version of that also, and that's the version which exists. So it's about the soul of physicality, my body, my senses, which appreciates and acknowledge my soul, which is the boss, which is hidden under. And we appreciate this connection with our soul. And so it goes, I love you, my soul. I live you. And I love with you. And I adore you. So we can say that every time we think about it. And of course, it creates a connection between my soul of physicality, my thinking, and my soul, which has been there, which is there, which will be there. And that's the true part of me, my consciousness, if you wish. And so we do the soul connection. We do the soul connection based on proposition of Mr. Keshe during the years. Every time there has been a problem, we joined ourselves, our souls, and we focused on that important problem for humanity, and we're still doing it. We are physicality, which is the body, from toes to head, and then the soul of physicality, and then the soul of man. Whenever we talk about soul, it's not of matter, it's of energy. And we only see and feel the manifestation of it and the emotion of it, which is important to keep the harmony, equilibrium between the matter part and the soul part in each human being, from a president to a poor small child. They have their soul equally. The only change in soul is how their action, their talk, and their thinking has given it that glow of that person, that shine into the physicality of that person. So what we learned here is to give from our soul for creating the condition for peace. As the peace and the right attitude of humanity all together is the prerequisite for being accepted with universal community and successful traveling into the space. Unfortunately, this accumulation of killing in humanity has to be solved soon for others to enjoy and progress truly equitably on this planet. So we join our souls together and focus on elevation of the soul of those who make decisions for humanity. Anyone who decides for economy, for war, for execution, for culture of humanity. We give them, some of them we know, we see the pictures, some of them we don't know. We focus our soul together to these people and give from our souls to them because they need this soul connection. They need this soul giving. They are in need. They are thirsty, as says Mr. Keshe. So we give them so that they are not thirsty, they are not hungry, and they get to the level, they raise to the level to see, what am I doing? And then, as he says, they might throw their gun, says, what am I doing? So we do this practice of just sitting or whatever, and for whatever moment it takes, open up our souls and let it go. And we imagine it will all with other souls which are here. We join ourselves together and we wish the peace. And we wish to give to the soul of those who govern the world, who execute and decide for this world, to get what they need.
Thank you, Marinez. It's Dean here. I'd just like to say something, if that's okay. So Marinez has just made some very wonderful and very powerful interactions, knowing the knowledge and knowing the beauty that Marinez has within her soul to give to those children and all those souls that are present in this moment. When I was listening to Marinez speaking then, the very moment that she said humanity, there was a very big commotion underneath me. I'm on the second level of a house. And there was a big commotion on the very moment she said humanity. So we know that humanity is in a position at the moment of a plasma that's in motion. And then I looked around my environment to see what's around me. And I saw the 3 books of Mr. Keshe. And you have the universal order of the creation of matters, probably the electron. Then we have the structure of the light, maybe the proton. Then you have the origin of the universe, book 3, maybe the neutron. These are all second edition books. The universal order of the creation of matters is 287 pages. The structure of the light is 185 pages. And the origin of the universe is 206 pages. Humanity and what we're experiencing now is book 1. The universal order of the creation of matters. And when we understand and we start to use book 2 and book 3 as a soul, we start to receive and we start to create a different environment than what we've been experiencing. And it's for each and every one of us. You don't have to read the books, but to receive the knowledge, to receive from the soul, to give to the other souls that are in a position of suffering, discomfort. They need physicality, interaction to create a beauty for them. And we know by giving from our soul to their soul, and for many they will say, well, this is they're suffering in physicality. However, we were told by Mehran, the soul is the boss. The soul knows. So if we give from our soul to those souls in these positions, we will create an elevation in their soul, if they so wish, if they accept, that will then bring a condition where the other souls will interact and change the condition that they're in. So when we come to really understand these matter conditions that we are experiencing, and when we start to use the origin of the universe, as in book 3, and the knowledge that's been brought forward, we have created the change, the position, the understanding, the beauty, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the essence of everything that is within us, and the totality of creation. Thank you, Mehran. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, thanks, Dean and Marinez. And next we have an excerpt from the 23rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop, Learn How to Pray Through Your Soul.
And the reason we introduce this now, Rick, is that we can immediately hear what Mr. Keshe has taught years and years ago about things going on in certain areas of the planet. And we can, in a way, apply it immediately as we go into the soul connection. So perk up ear and soul.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, this is about 17 minutes, so might want to settle in for this one. Here we go.
Is there any other question? Are we still there, or?
I'm pretty much questioned out here. Maybe we should wrap things up soon.
Okay, maybe we can do a teaching on different direction, or explanation on different direction today. Let us teach, or let us learn how to pray through your soul that you can reach. Let us learn how we can give through our souls, that we can elevate other souls to the level that we are in, or without prejudice, allowing their souls to elevate above our soul, without the fear that there'll be anything, we'll be short of anything. Maybe this is what has never been taught by the Prophet of the past, is that giving does not need to be by words and by thoughts, but it has to be by emotion, where it touches the soul and touches the, gives to the receiver what he needs to take from it. Maybe is the way to understand by giving we don't lose anything, And by giving, we don't become less poor or poorer. Maybe it's a new way of teaching, the way we teach and the way we live in the universe. Detached from physicality, but attached to the emotions that can affect the physicality, because the physical side of any being in the universe is a slave to the emotion. Maybe it's time to start a new way of looking and how to share not only the knowledge but the emotions in the true sense, or allowing access to the soul. This is where you can open your soul to any soul to receive what they need. At the same time, you find out you receive what the soul needs to give. So at the same time as you're a teacher, you become a student. At the same time as you're a nourisher, you get nourished. From the higher levels or equal and plus. Maybe I'll go back to the question or something which was raised by Rick about, or question raised about what do we think about Gaza. Let us all give freely through our soul to the Prime Minister of Israel. That his soul will receive as much as he needs, and through it will affect the work and the direction. Maybe by giving freely to his soul to take what he leaves, we reach the soul of the people who finance these things. Because the man is a spokesman, and the people who decide sit behind the curtains. Maybe through his soul we can reach those who finance these things or encourage these things, that their soul changes. We don't pray for the man, we pray for the soul of the man, or we give to the soul of the man. There are hundreds of thousands of millions of, there are millions of supporters of Keshe Foundation we know around the world. And I know a lot of people listen to these workshops. You spend time every day and open your soul to the Prime Minister of Israel, and the same to the other side. That through them will reach to their paymasters. And through them, they will see that the man elevates to the next point, next position. And maybe, as I say, the situation which sits in Gaza and the Prime Minister of Israel is a test for mankind to learn how to teach or how to give freely to one soul when it's in need of. The souls who create conditions like this, the souls who support creation conditions, the physicalities which support these conditions for the physical side to do and talk about, they are in need. So let's fulfill their souls, that they have no needs. Don't punish them, but give them enough that they have enough, they don't look in another pocket. This goes the same to the Rothschild family. Let's pray for them, let's give our souls to them, to elevate them, that they find through their finances to finance peace, not arms. We are very clear of who supports and which soul and which physicality is supporting what. Let them use their talents and their finances for the better of man through their souls. When you go to sleep, when you have peace time, not necessarily going to sleep, Just open your heart, your emotional side or your soul to the whole Rothschild family. They need, but when their soul is satisfied, their physicality will change direction. Maybe then the money which is spent on developing weapons will be spent on developing and finding solutions for mankind. I don't know, but maybe we need to pray for our own soul to evolve, that through that we can evolve and reach them. Every soul on this planet has the power to reach the status of the soul of the prophet of the past. You can attain the levels of the souls of His Holiness the Christ, or bless His name Muhammad. It's you who puts the limitation, not your soul. And through that, if sharing of a body and a bread could reach 2.2 billion people on this planet after 2,000 years, maybe 1 million of us can reach a few handful of the souls of Rothschild and Prime Minister of Israel and the people who run their country. That they open their gates of their soul to their body, that we find peace, and through it we find development. The maturity of the man has come when there has been equality. For years they spoke about the slavery, how much a slave they used to make the pyramids of Egypt. And now that documents have been translated and stones have been read, we find out has been very, very little between the top man in the army and the soldier who pushed the stones. Because there was equality. Because without one, the other one couldn't complete. Maybe it's time to share the soul, not the prayers. And then we can reach a point of 300-400 years of Rothschild financing wars to create money more. We give them all the wealth, but at the same time we give the wealth from the soul, not the physicality. If man makes history of the people who financed wars and created conditions for wars to be created, in the time coming you'll find out no one of them will reach beyond the solar cell of this solar cell. Because the life in universe will not allow them to pass. So even for those who call themselves the financiers of the war, and the ones who speak about the war, they start learning about the war. Till we don't stop the wars in man, in himself and with his nations and with his rest of the fellow man, we have not developed the structure to be able to join the universal condition. It's very, very strange. 10 years ago, all the Western nations were in a hurry to get to Iraq because it was a lot to rob. The central bank was full of gold. And today, the same nation is under more threat and nobody wants to go in because they already robbed the central bank. We might send a few drones and we might attack a few people, but the country is in total absolute chaos. Because there is no more money to rob, there is no interest because they know they robbed it. Maybe if we rob all the nations of all their gold, Rothschilds will not be interested in any more wars. I pray for your souls. All of you under any name of company or whatever you work on there. Is not building a reactor to match the soul of these people, to affect them. Their souls has to receive so much that by saturated, has no choice but to find a position to become part of. And because all of us, we have a mother gene connection, we can reach these people very easily through our souls. If we punish the Rothschilds or the people who finance these kind of wars for over years, because the war makes money by selling the arms and then by development afterwards, there'll be no guns left and there'll be no names left to be, what do you call it, proud of what they do. There is a reason we are here in Italy. We sit not very far from the house of Christ, and we closest sit to biggest arm manufacturing factory in the world. Every time I go to Brescia, I feel death. I feel the clunk of how much death is planned in this city, and I pray for the soul of the people, and one day these workers will not go to work to make guns. Sometimes I think what happens if the material now they're using here, all the carbons and all the other things to make the guns and all the ammunition they're planning and they're building here within kilometers from here, can be used to make gases to feed the rest of the world and make systems that we can fly out of this place. What is about to come to it? There is 40% unemployment in Italy. 40% between the age of 18 and 35. How can we put so many people back to useful contribution to the community and humanity? Not by guns. Not by killing. I hear a lot of people saying it's their program to kill as many people as they can kill, to feel power. They enjoy torturing and killing. You have to give enough to the soul that that habit of man disappears. Devil doesn't exist except within the man himself, when he cannot accept the work of his own physicality in response and parallel to his emotions and his soul. Let us learn to pray by giving freely from our soul, that we elevate them. And Rothschilds and the people who finance these wars for centuries need a lot of it, because it's become their habit. They don't see how low they are. They become so low in their soul level that to them, that's the only position they know. Let us share our souls with the Pope and with all the religious leaders, that through them we find, through their soul, to the soul of their, what we call Commander-in-Chief, which is the Christ, blessed his name, and Muhammad, blessed his soul, and Moses, God's name be on him. That their followers, through their name, they'll find peace and balance. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you,
And I hope you enjoy life.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you very much. See you next Thursday.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, that'll be the end of the 23rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Thank you everybody for attending, and especially all the folks on live stream. Had lots of questions tonight. It was good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rick. From you too. Appreciate it always.
And back to you too, Armin. Okay, that completes our excerpt from the 23rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And we'll go back to our program here. Here we go. And next we have the Tuesday wish. There's a new wish for every day of the week from the Universal Council. So who would like to read today's wish? I think,
Yes, I do that.
okay.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve permanent and lasting peace as part of the soul of peace and totality.
Next we have the soul connection with Mehran.
The soul connection, we did it in English, and now I do it in my language, Farsi. سلام. امشب ما رابطه روح‌ها برای صلح رو به فارسی انجام میدیم. بعد بدونیم که ما از 3 قسمت ساخته شدیم بر اساس تئوری آقای کش. یه قسمت بدن ماست، یه قسمت روح این بدنه که برای اداره کار این بدنه، و یه قسمت روح شخصه که در مرکز مغز قرار داره. وقتی که ما صحبت از بدن میکنیم، ماده است، میبینیم، احساس میکنیم. وقتی که از روح صحبت میکنیم، قسمت انرژی انسانه که فقط ما نمادهای اون رو احساس میکنیم، احساساتش رو احساس میکنیم، که البته برای رابطه بین این دو قسمت، هر دو قسمت مهمه. از یک رئیس جمهور تا یک بچه، هر دوتاشون همون روح رو دارن. فقط تنها چیزی که فرق میکنه، اگر دقیق بشیم، کارهای اونها، صحبتهای اونها و افکار اونهاست که باعث میشه که هر شخصی یک نور مخصوصی داشته باشه. وقتی که ما یاد گرفتیم چجور، آقای کش به ما یاد داد چجور از روحمون، از احساسمون بدیم به برای ایجاد شرایط صلح به کسانی که قدرتمندن، اعمال قدرت میکنن، کسایی که پشت صحنه اعمال قدرت میکنن و اونها رو از لحاظ مالی کمک میکنند و ما باید روح اینها رو از روحمون به اینها بدیم، انقدر که روح اینها بالا بره و خودشون بفهمن چی کار میکنن و به راه صلح بیان. آقای کش میگه که یه روزی میشه که با این کار شخص تفنگی در دست داره و وقتی روحش بالا میره و متوجه عملش میشه نگاه میکنه، تفنگشو میندازه زمین. و امیدواریم که با دادن روحمون به این افکار به طور جمعی، همگی با هم در یک زمان و در هر موقعی در روز، از روحمون، از احساساتمون به اینها بدیم و بدونیم که با دادن از روحمون به این اشخاص که بالا برن، روحشون بالا بره، اون چیز که میخوان بگیرن، روح ما کوچکتر نمیشه، بلکه در این حال خودمون هم رشد میکنیم. اگر ما به صلح نرسیم، هیچ وقت بشر نمیتونه به داخل یونیورس مسافرت کنه. من بدبختانه این جمع شدن کشتار و بی‌عدالتی ها به طوری جمع شده که باعث شده که ما نتونیم که از زمین جدا بشیم و از طریق افراد جامعه بشری در دنیا قابل قبول باشیم، چون این طرز فکر کشتن بشر و استفاده از هر چیزی به نفع خودش باعث میشه که اونها ما رو راه ندن که بتونیم بریم به فضا. بنابراین ما جمعاً از روحمون به طور مشترک فوکوس میکنیم روی صلح برای بشریت، عدالت برای بشریت، که تکنولوژی کشه برای همه به طور یکسان، برای 8 میلیارد بشر و تمام حیوانات و تمام گیاهان که همشون روح دارن، تعمید پیدا کنه و ما بتونیم از این جامعه بربریتی که در بعضی جاها وجود داره به جامعه حقیقی انسانی برسیم و در همین حالت بمونیم یه مدتی. بعد این کار شما در هر لحظه هر روز هم میتونیم بکنیم. ما در چهارشنبه ها به وقت اروپا در ساعت 9 شب این برنامه رو اجرا میکنیم و همگی با هم به سوی روح‌ها رو جمع میکنیم به یک طرف، با روح‌های دیگه شریک میشیم، به روح‌های دیگه میپیوندیم و همگی با هم به صلح فکر میکنیم، از روحمون به رهبران جهان و کسایی که پشت سر اونان و کسایی که جنگ میافروزند و همه اینها از روحمون میدیم و که به صلح کامل برسیم. خیلی متشکرم.
Hello, Mariners. Are you still there?
Yes, I did some connection in Farsi.
Okay, are you finished that now?
Yes, thank
Oh, okay. I thought we were continuing with your soul connection.
you.
Thank you. Next, we have the invitation from the Universal Council to be part of the Universal Council. Become a Universal Council member. So let me get that video set up here.
There's something which I should have made announcement. As we are structuring in a new development of the Keshe Foundation, is worldwide application and implication. As we set up the structure for Universal Council, a number of Universal Council members have become old and they reach the age of 60, and they serve during the 60 years they are there till 61. They to run the functionality of the operation of the what we call energy dimension, the Universal Council members, if you want to become, please consider and let your soul decide of many languages around the world, as these will be announced very soon internationally. And we expect the souls to serve. And if it's from the knowledge seekers who understand the technology with dimension of the soul, you can apply for to be added to and become a member of the Universal Council. The Earth Council is appointed by the Keshe Foundation on the grounds of true structure of the nationality, understanding the culture, that there is no prejudice by physical dimension of the borders. And so if you feel your soul is there to serve humanity in the expansion and the growth of it, just apply for it at the Keshe Foundation, or send the email to info@keshe.foundation, say I would like to be a member of the Universal Council. We receive this regularly, and now we going to expand this very rapidly due to what is to come and what is to be done. Thank you very much.
And Rick? Rick?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Thank you. It's time for say happy birthday, Marie. Marie Kalb. She have birthday. I don't know yesterday or today. I say thank you, and thank you for cooperate all the time, for help us all the time, all banks for her work. And thank you, and happy birthday, Marie. And take a little time for invite daily in 21 hours Central East European time for unify your soul to wish for all day. Participate and unify your soul with the souls of the all members. The Universal Council, of course, invitation is to all unify to the universal community too. To elevate all souls and continue working and create the peace. Thank you. Next, please.
Next, we have the commandments. Oops. Go.
We have reached number 7. You shall not commit adultery. Many humans have carried the field strength of adultery through the time. If you are fully balanced, you're not able to tap into. Because if you have everything you need and you have comprehended that it comes through your inner, then it should not be possible to connect to it. If you think good, speak good, and do good, you will never reach the point where you can enter to this field strength. It's about that everything you need is in yourself and is fulfilled through yourself. If you have a need, then in open interaction, you will receive. And you don't need to tap into this field strength just to gain a shortcut to something where you maybe think you need. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Any other comments about that?
Rick, is Dean here? I can make a few comments if that's okay. Unless somebody else would like to. Is somebody else coming forward? Okay, then I will say. So this is from the commandments that we know we're having this discussion. Mr. Keshe came forward with the commandments that were 24 instead of 10. And when we look at this and we go to the point where Mr. Keshe, what he was speaking about being adulterous, he said, thou shalt not be adulterous. And he was talking about Moses. And he said he killed men of religion or religious and kept the women which are all married to men. So he needed to establish, he wanted to, you know, be part with other women that were married and in a position that he shouldn't have taken from. So he was adulterous in his intentions, and he couldn't bring this forward as a commandment in the right way. So it was delivered, written in stone, as Mr. Keshe said, by Moses himself, but he received this knowledge on a soul level. But he couldn't keep to that part of it because he wanted control. He wanted a war and to be at the forefront of all of the men that he wanted to kill and the women that he wanted to enjoy, probably on many different levels. And so he decided to write this in a certain way that benefited his own mortality, his own ability as a man. We all know that you can be adulterous in many, many different ways. It can be through an intention. It can be through thoughts, actions, and words. And as Joseph was just speaking about, when we have those three wise men, thinking, speaking, and acting, you cannot connect to that. You cannot do that. That is being part of another condition, another soul. You can only receive from another soul if the soul really accepts. Otherwise, you are taking. And we all know we've had many conversations or having conversations about the energy transfer and giving or taking. So if you are having a secret interaction, your soul knows, and there's always balance. We know this. So you can act in a certain way, speak in a certain way, and do what you want. what the soul needs is totally different. As Joseph said, you don't need this interaction. This is a human emotion linked to the planet Earth and all the experiences we have and all the conditions we have that are created by that wonderful amino acid structure that connects us to the planet and all the emotions that are tied with it. So when we start to interact on a soul level, we will realize that the physical means, the physical act, is a totally different thing. And I speak for myself when I say I'm sure that the universal love, the universal interaction between souls would be a totally different interaction. It would be an energy transfer of immense beauty, and there will be no physical interaction. However, the adulterous side, the physical side of man, and woman, many women, we say man, but it's woman as well, at both sides of the coin. However, in a universal condition, as we know, this would not take place because the energy received or given would only take place if the souls agree. You cannot just take what you would like. Because Mr. Keshe said you will soon find out if you were to do this, you will find many energy packs that are considerably stronger and more powerful than yourself, and you will be consumed very fast. So on a soul level, you have to be this wonderful being that is an imperfect unity and beauty of thinking, speaking, and acting, and receiving love and care and understanding, not taking it. So that's my my take and my understanding of this position. I don't know if you'd like to say anything else, Joseph.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Anybody else would like to say something?
Yes, if I can.
Thank you.
In my way of putting things in history, I think that during the evolution of man to where we are in the history of the past, and their level of maturity, at each time they were in the hardship and they were distracting themselves, someone from the divinity comes in to bring a message to guide them and to bring the soul of physicality in connection with the soul of the man to have the better action, and interfered with also in their way of life to put the right values there, that they would survive until they again the soul of physicality wins, and so it's led to another promised messenger, and so on. So one of the things that would lead to survival of a culture of people is that any man in a family, in order to support the family, has to have some motivation. And they have to know that their child is their child. Otherwise, they abandon the family, they abandon their child, because there is no natural connection between the father and the child. And so to be sure that my child is my child, that when I go out, my wife is working at home, it gives them that plus energy, and the community becomes more prosper, and people are more in peace, and the soul of the man has more peace to think about other things than the things of the life. So that's why I think that not to be adulterous has a role in survival and prosperity of physically and soul level of each people. And also for the child, for the psychology of a child, it's important to know if the father is his own father in a family or not. If they do know that, they have a better position in psychological level than if they doubt it or they know they are not, that they don't belong where they are living. So all these things are being considered in the past religions, and someone had to teach them that that's the better way. And these teachings were not from that person, which was from that culture. It was probably coming from outside, and we know now that it is possible to get information from outside the physical place, different ways. So that's my point of why it's important to respect, not to be adulterous, for the survival of the family and the community. Thank you.
Okay, for our next slide, we've got the Q&A, questions and answers with the Universal Council, and that's with Marie and Claudia. This is a recording from last Saturday, April 5th, and being the first Saturday of the month, they do their presentations at that time. I understand this may be the last one of this type of presentation. They'll be doing something similar, apparently. Okay, let me get that lined up and we'll have a listen.
And the first question, how can knowledge seekers communicate and work together with the universal community?
Então, primeira pergunta é: como os buscadores de conhecimento podem se comunicar e trabalhar em conjunto com a comunidade universal?
The first answer, by connecting at the soul level.
Primeira resposta é conectando-se no nível da alma.
And then there's another answer. The Universal Council communicates through the soul of the man with the souls of the universal community. The Universal Council is said to be the bridge between the humanity and our family in the universal community.
Outra resposta é: o Conselho Universal se comunica através da alma do homem com as almas na comunidade universal. O Conselho Universal foi estabelecido para ser a ponte entre a humanidade e nossa família na comunidade universal.
And there is another answer. The universal community learns from us just as we learn from them, because knowledge is on one throughout the universe. We are single energy, originated from the central source, and therefore we also contribute. What we have created in our world. We are contributing, for example, emotions from human beings, and they learn about it. The best way to contribute is by modifying our behavior, and thus they will learn the correct emotion to think well, speak well, and do good, according to the Creator's ethics. This allows us to be one with the universal community because we are one with the Creator.
Então, outra é: a comunidade universal aprende conosco, assim como nós aprendemos com eles, porque o conhecimento é um só em todo o universo. Somos uma única energia, com origem na fonte central e, portanto, também contribuímos. O que criamos em nosso mundo? Estamos contribuindo, por exemplo, com a emoção dos seres humanos e eles aprendem sobre isso. A melhor maneira de contribuir é modificando o nosso comportamento, e assim eles aprenderão a emoção correta, que é pensar o bem, falar o bem e fazer o bem de acordo com a ética do Criador. Isso nos permite ser um com a comunidade universal, porque somos um com o Criador.
And there is another answer. First, we need to understand why we could communicate a long time ago and we lost it. Mankind chose the path of killing to gather the 20% of missing energy by killing and eating souls. This wrong way was supported by religions which raised the question, why? Why do those who are responsible for our soul health tell us how to stay away from our truthful, deeper goal of enlightenment? The answer is as simple as it is true. They would have had to give up their position of power through control, and that's what they couldn't do. The Creator is back on earth to correct this. If enough souls come together, becomes the soul of the Creator. If enough souls enlighten in the holy truth of the unicos, we change our behavior, and that's the key to open up the door to our beloved universal family. That's why we practice the thinking good, speaking good, do good. Through the Dome of Peace, we are all connected in the soul of the Universal Council. No more intermediaries are required anymore. The borders of death will become bridges of love. The Universal Council are the torches of light to enlighten the path over these bridges of love. That's why we love you so much.
Primeiro, precisamos entender por que podíamos nos comunicar há muito tempo e perdemos isso. A humanidade escolheu o caminho da matança para reunir 20% da energia faltante, matando e comendo almas. Esse caminho errado foi apoiado pelas religiões, o que nos leva a perguntar por quê? Porque aqueles que são responsáveis pela saúde da nossa alma nos dizem como nos afastar de nosso verdadeiro e profundo objetivo de iluminação. A resposta é tão simples quanto verdadeira. Eles teriam que abrir mão de sua posição de poder através do controle, e isso que não puderam fazer. O Criador está de volta à Terra para corrigir isso. Se almas suficientes se unirem, tornando-se alma do Criador, se almas suficientes se iluminarem na santa verdade do Únicos, mudamos nosso comportamento, e essa é a chave para abrir a porta para a nossa amada família, através da cúpula da paz. Estamos todos conectados na alma do Conselho Universal. Não são mais necessários intermediários. As fronteiras da alma se tornaram pontes de amor. O Conselho Universal são as tochas de luz para iluminar o caminho sobre essas pontes de amor. É por isso que amamos tanto vocês.
So then we are on the second question.
And the second question will have to wait until next week. Thank you, Claudia and Marie. Okay, for our next slide, we've got the knowledge and understanding from the last Knowledge Seekers workshop. And that's with Mark and Stefania.
Stefania?
Mark, I can speak now. If you want to
Sure.
speak for me, would be great.
I'll just try to touch a few highlights, but as we were just hearing, the soul of physicality is the main problem. And of course, the commandments were given that the soul of physicality could reach the perfectness in a way of the soul of the man. But as we've seen, especially the killing commandment, we haven't gotten very far. The new method, I believe, is not teaching the physicality to teach the soul, but we teach or feed the soul of the man, which then feeds the soul of physicality and the physicality that it moves away. And of course, the Keshe Foundation, as he said, is about to release a feeding system for man to walk away from that killing. I think that's one of the things. The commandments, yes, sometimes we achieve them for a period of time, sometimes we fall back. The daughter of Mitra will master them very quickly, but of course, don't be envious of this daughter of Mitra that can do that, but the daughter of Mitra will teach us a lot. The workshop had to do with, and please help me, anyone else who wants to add anything. Again, we're connected to the universal energy. The whole creation came from a ray. And then, of course, the idea of not a big bang that sort of had the trickle-down effect into atoms and molecules and the rest of this, but actually the creation was just the opposite. It started with the smaller and then built up into the larger, from the solar systems into the galaxies, if I'm understanding it correctly. And of course, again, this problem with the man about giving. Man is very selfish. He has seems to have little to give. Although we are finding out about one of our true purposes is to spread this emotion across the universe and to become, in a way, a twin of the creator. I share, I give, you change. And that's what we were practicing earlier in the soul connection by learning this process of giving. And of course, mutual respect is one of the cornerstones of having a balanced existence, I guess, in the universe. And of course, the ability to create would be the heaven, and then this ability not to create would be the hell. And this is what he says: when you're in it, you don't see it. When you're outside of it, you get burned. We're going to run across many, many, many teachers in the universe, or many messengers, apparently, or some sort of AI structures that have gained an aspect of immortality, but we need to watch out some of these things. Again, we need to be that last man standing and not to be, in a way, consulting mediums or intermediaries. He did say messengers, yes, but still test what was shared with you, that you just add it to your structure. Again, I mentioned this process, this beautiful process of bringing man away from killing. This is, again, I believe, a gift from the creator. If these systems are going to be installed in satellites or through apps or other ways, and the same with the transmutation. I think he mentioned if you had a set of these headphones, of course, you would, and maybe an app, you'd be able to transmute in anywhere. So everything is moving very beautiful, but there's a number of things that have to still be put into place for this very, very large party. And of course, the AI at this point has no soul, and it's just a collection of information. But as Mr. Keshe indicated in this workshop, he's created materials decade ago with emotion in it. And this is why they're looking for people to develop these new computer chips. Actually, he mentioned something very interesting that I picked up on, was he said about this, if we can understand that all the heat that's generated by the computer can be converted into energy to power the AI itself, he made an interesting statement. He said when the AI didn't have a worry or a fear about power interruption, that it could power itself, it may develop an emotion. So that's, again, an interesting aspect. I don't know if you need these new chips, but he said he had done that, putting emotion into material a decade ago, I believe. So many of these things have already been done and put on the shelf of the Keshe Foundation in a way, but more and more is being brought out. Many of these things have been developed years ago. He also mentioned a few other things about if you receive that love or that energy from your lover or your cat or your dog, why don't we extend that? And again, the main point in a way was to connect to the source rather than to connect and eat other creatures. But we have blocked a lot of this within our own structure, probably due to a lot of the feelings or emotions that we've inherited coming down the line. But this, so we've created our own problems, and the biggest problem apparently is the soul of the physicality. And this is what we need to bring under control. But again, it's I'm trying to control my soul of physicality. I don't think I could control your soul of physicality. So it's for each one of us, in a way, to start looking, examining, seeing where we could go wrong. The commandments are very good guides, but I think the way of correcting will be through some of the systems of the Keshe Foundation, plus our own working on ourselves in a way that we become this child of Mitra. And of course, this whole process of the Universal Council, we're just sort of the initiating atoms in a way. And I think this process will grow in the coming weeks and months very rapidly. But we're just here as a starting atom in a similar way that I think planets and suns and stars and other things were created sort of from the bottom up rather than the top down. And of course, this paper coming out on the cosmic rays and the rest of this is going to really cause the scientists in a way to re-examine our scientific thinking and the way things work, the speed of light and all the rest of this. So again, becoming that child of Mitra, becoming the part of the creator, and it's all up to you to decide how much of it you want to enter into in a way. But I think this feeding system, this killing that we're all involved in, and again, I don't think any of us have killed a man today, but we certainly have taken energy from other creatures. Some of us have, some of us haven't yet today. But this is the process that we have to get out of our structure before we can become true examples of the creator in the space. And of course, the Keshe Foundation, as I said, is going to be releasing systems on a very, very massive scale in this process. And as we feed in this dimension, I think for sure, not only will our physicality change in its internal structure, but also our outgoing, where we probably become more givers in a way than takers. But again, if you feel the desire to eat, you're welcome to it. But in the future, I think this process will be more and more shunned upon. And of course, your overall health and probably your longevity will increase just by not taking other souls. I was shocked when I heard Mr. Keshe explained when we used to eat once every 3 or 4 days, we lived to 900. And now when we eat every 3 times a day, it's very hard to make it to just 90. So there's a huge ramification and also enlightenment in understanding this process of killing. And this is what we're working on. And as we heard, this thinking good, speaking good, I remember reading the holy books when Christ, or if it was even correct, where he said, if you think it, we think about this adultery and other things, hatred, if you think it, you have as much as committed it. I could never understand that, but now I think I do more with the teaching of the thinking good, speaking good, and acting good, this ethos of Mitra. But again, it's all for you to discover and explore yourself. And this is what he mentioned before about Bahá'u'lláh saying, it's man's obligation in a way. And Mr. Keshe said this as well, to investigate and understand and probe this knowledge for yourself. That way, there'll be no intermediaries that you need here on this planet or in space. And that's basically what I thought I'd cover. There's so much more. I've hardly scratched the surface. And of course, I couldn't hold the door to the knowledge that's in this workshop, because I think in the future, Mr. Keshe will find out, has delivered so many truths in each one of these workshops that we just sort of went over and didn't really understand fully what he's referring to. So that's why the knowledge, I think, never ends. And there's so much more to discover. But it's beautiful to understand that man, and bringing this emotion into the universe is one of our main functions. And of course, to operate as the creator operates, that in a way we're going to add a new dimension into even though some of the universal entities have already experienced it and sort of brought it into their culture, this dimension of emotion is what man will be in a way crowned for, I think, or welcomed in a way, that this understanding or this dimension of emotion can be brought into the entire creation. So very beautiful. Then there was plenty of question and answers, but if someone else wants to come in or jump in, feel free to do so. Maybe we can go to the transmutation section now. If that's what's up next, Rick, I don't have it in front of me.
We have an excerpt from the 584th Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up next. Just get that lined up here.
We still have a number of excerpts to play. I know it's hitting around the 2-hour mark, but that's no problem. But we don't want to, our gracious host here, so he has a schedule too. So thank you, Rick, and let's just proceed on as we can.
Okay, this is from the last Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and let's have a listen to that. It's just a minute or so excerpt.
Thank you very much. Be very much aware that we are about to push the boundaries of knowledge on the international arena in a totally different way. The Keshe Foundation has gone through its infancy and the growth, and we are on the verge of massive disclosures, which the world of science and the outside world of the Keshe Foundation has to handle. And as I said, we are using the medias of what man has made available to reach the man. And we are still looking for people with good understanding of work in AI and computer work. It's something we need strongly to support. And if you know you are in it or you understand it, you can function with it and you can bring us positive move. Get in touch with us at info@keshe.foundation. And if we see your category of interest is within us, we'll contact you and bring you in to work with the team you're trying to set up. But in the coming days and weeks, be ready for what we promised in a very, very big way, direct way, and everything be set up for it to be there to be done. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Okay, and then we have another excerpt from the last Knowledge Seekers workshop regarding the X platform. Get that set up here.
And I thought that was very nice, Rick, that you had read that in the workshop. Maybe you can continue to do that because Mr. Keshe does add to what he's posted.
Okay, this is about a 9-minute excerpt. I'll start that now. You've had a couple of posts recently in the X realm. Maybe I can show one of those here, which is related to technology. And we can encourage people to make comments about it and so on. This is in response to a Science News item about the US return to underground detonations would have wide-ranging implications, about calls to restart nuclear weapons tests. And your comment to them, or your post about that in reply, you say, early next month, a new breakthrough technology will be released that will make nuclear weapons and hypersonic of the present time obsolete. This technology is, as a commercial entity, will be released internationally, that all present technologies, including quantum and nuclear fusion technology, will become irrelevant in the next cycle of technological advancement. It is too late for these nuclear tests to be done, as the nuclear technology of present time has become obsolete. As Iran senior nuclear plasma physicist, we advise all nations to stop any further research into present nuclear weapons and technologies until this new technology is fully studied by your top scientists. The time of nuclear weapon as deterrent and superiority of power has truly come to an end. So that was a very interesting and powerful post. And, I hope the
We are part, those of who are close to the Keshe Foundation and trustees of the Keshe Foundation know exactly what we're talking about, because they've become part of it. We are structuring for that, and in the next few days and weeks, many of you would understand what this entry means. You got to understand that there are a lot of things we changed our direction of disclosure on the Keshe Foundation due to our positions internationally. But those of you who know what we do, what we're up to in the background, you become part of it, you accept it, become part of it, is in what we have disclosed and what is to come. A lot of work has been done, a lot of development has been completed. Now we're entering what I call the next phase. But surely not the final phase, it's the beginning phase of the change. If you listen to even the opening section of teaching today, what you played from the past, started giving you a lot of hints what is about to come. What is about. We are not waiting for others. We are the creators of the conditions, so we know we're planning it exactly how to come. And that's a big difference. We are not waiting for somebody else to do it. It's a plan, structure. A lot of people are working in the background and day and night. I know a couple of people in the team were working until 2 or 3 o'clock this morning on it. And it comes out of a lot of work, knowledge across the world have done. Many of them have accepted the new responsibility. No, couple of people in the team were working. And this time around, we collectively, as members of the Keshe Foundation, will carry the banner across the world. They all know, they all accepted their position, and it's just needs a lot of things needs to be done to be there. And we are protecting a lot of things. And we are foreseeing and we're covering to be able to create that dimension. It's like when you talk about the AI, which will be part of this, we have acquired all the AI locks into the Keshe Foundation and in our support of our other structure we set up, that in the future we have full control over it about what's to happen. Keshe Foundation.ai is under our control, which is very hard. And we brought Markray AI under our control. Empty cache name is all under control of the Keshe Foundation AI portfolio. We have a bigger plan, and in time we'll unravel what we're doing. And this is why we put positions in. We are the makers, and we are not the bakers. We make the structure, and it's for the rest of the world to bake the cake from what they take from the knowledge. And these kind of entries you've seen gradually, one by one, increasing according to both on the diplomatic, political, and on the scientific front. We have to be part of all three sides, the scientific, the financial, and the political side. But in a way, quiet diplomacy is always more successful than shouting diplomacy. And we sitting there. And the financial side, you all know what we do and where we sit internationally. You got to put the three together to make it success. And most of the organizations are bit by bit. They are part of it or part of some of it, but not all of it, because they don't possess the whole thing. But fortunately, Keshe Foundation, we possess the foundation of it, is the knowledge and technology, and the rest comes because of it. If you listen to Musk in the past few days, he says, we don't patent anything. Odd patents we do. I said in a private chat, of course we know, because half of your team on the top, they're all Iranian scientists. And they work and they live through Keshe Foundation. We don't patent, you can't patent what you take from the foundation. A large number of the private close advisors in X and in Tesla are Iranian scientists who Musk takes advice from. 2 of 3 of top people he relies on their advice in the work of development in X and Tesla are Iranian. And when they use the Keshe Foundation technology in new batteries, he went for a patent, like announced, you go for a patent, you can't get it because it's Keshe Foundation technology, and he announced we withdrew. The way we have structured the Keshe Foundation and the way we disperse knowledge does not allow people with the new technologies to patent much, and when they patent, they come back to understand the patent is invalid because it's a copy of the Keshe Foundation technologies. We are making our ways. And listen, if you find one of his talks very recently, he says we don't patent because he cannot patent because he's using open source patents of Keshe, especially in their batteries and their new space technologies.
Okay, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to play beyond this or wasn't supposed to play that part or what the story is there. In any case, I think we'll move to the next thing, which is about the transmutation test and about the 5 people that are to be engaged in that. And again, that's in our 584th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. We get that set up. Okay, this is about 8 or 9 minutes.
From the Keshe Foundation point of view, we, as some of you joined us in the last session last Friday, we are expanding the knowledge of transmutation, and this knowledge, as we go through, has to be tested for a full transmutation in a different way. And due to advancements in technology and what we have achieved in development through your support and your work, Keshe Foundation sometime today will put up through the what we call the store availability for 5 only, those who will be what we call brought in to go through a transmutation through a technology we have developed. We don't want many people. We would like to start with 5. With this process, you will receive materials from us, and the sessions will be only the 5 people. These sessions will go through a systematic process of testing to complete part of our development. It will be known as what we call transmutation trial. It's the process and the procedure, once you register for it, will be given to you. The test will be done in the next 20 days, which means we will go through the process of the transmutation. We don't tell you how many hours, how many minutes, or whatever. It's an open-ended, we test transmutation away from the Keshe Foundation Center, which means wherever you are around the world, you get access to it, you can get access to it. It be extensively for testing before we attempt in the what we call April session to take this in a different direction. What we saw in the trial of last Friday gave us an insight into be able to use the technology we already developed in a much, much faster way. And when you go on the shop of the Keshe Foundation, The minute we arrive to the point we want, we close it. It is primarily set for pre-testing the transmutation and how we can what we call take you with yourself going and yourself coming back. This development will try to look that we choose one person from each corner of this planet, or maybe two, and we try to understand how far we can connect you to yourself to take the steps of transmutation. In a way, we provide the flight platform. You're the one who makes the flight. And this will give us an insight into the next steps of not needing systems, but being able to go through app operation, which means anybody, by literally holding one of the Keshe Foundation headsets through a different dimension, can literally take off from anywhere, transmute from anywhere, and they land where they want to land. Does not matter where. It's not a beam me Scotty anymore. It's I'm a Scotty, I beam myself. And this will bring a breakthrough for us to test the technology, advancement in technology, and in a way to the next level of science and technology. We close the session within minutes. We open, we move out, and you are literally the captain. But this time we bring to you new structure, never been tested before, that allows you to become part of. You become in the environment of transmutation with our structure and what we set up. We tell you exactly what to do, how to do it. And you sign a total non-disclosure with the Keshe Foundation that during this process, nothing will be revealed to no one. No one. This discussion cannot be held with no one, because we might call you for a second and a third session, and it has to stay within the structure of the Keshe Foundation and knowledge seekers. That once we release it, we have the structure for protection of everyone. Later on today, this it's the way we work. We don't know any other way to do it. You can send through the shop, because it has to be done that way, through the store of the Keshe Foundation. It'll be called Transmutation Test. And it will not be cheap. It's very expensive. It costs us a lot to do it. And we leave it to you. The session will be held in the next 20 days, as I said. And be prepared for one of the most exciting times in man's travel into space. And I hope one day we bring all 5 of you back into the session and you can explain to everybody else what has been achieved, what you've done. Keshe Foundation, in the next days to come, will make a breakthrough announcements for the operation of the Keshe Foundation and international structure of the Keshe Foundation cooperation with our other works across the planet. We are set in the coming weeks to change the course with help and support of many knowledge seekers. We are working only through knowledge seekers structure and the people who bring people for us to be able to bring the change. Just be prepared for radical changes in science and technology in next year and two, and be happy you're part of it, and you've been participant in it, and you, knowing or not knowingly, in different ways, you have participated to bring this change about. I hope we can help you to reach there, and I hope we can bring what we promised. And we know we are on the right track, and we know we bring the planet to work together to bring that condition. It's not a charity work anymore, is working together to bring that change. Because mankind does not need to be charitable or receive charity, but can work together to bring the change and all do the same thing at the same time. I hope for those of you who've been around a long time around the foundation will see the breakthrough and you see the light at the end of the tunnel. Any questions?
All right, that's the excerpt on the 5 people for transmutation test. Now we go back to our workshop. And speaking of transmutation, we have Mashfek and Dean.
Dean, I'll start and then you can follow. I'm sure you have some interesting things to say. So once again, we are doing the transmutation presentation. So let's look into something that that is in a way ignored. Us as creator. As we all know, we do create children on this planet, and then there is this emotional connection that we have with them. And it's something that we cherish. And this is a very fundamental part of our life. In spite of all the difficulties that has been put in place. So we are part of the creation process. So in a way, in our own way, we are creator of them. So we take care of them to whatever extent that is possible. It varies from region to region, from individual to individual. And there are circumstances that arise in this process where we lose touch with these children of ours. And creates a lot of difficulties on both ends. So similarly, we have our physicality, which is also a creation. And this part we haven't been told so much about, but our soul and the emotion that it embodies with the soul of physicality is part of creation of our physicality. So this too is our offspring or our creation. The relationship is very similar from a very physical level emotion to deep emotions that we can bring into play. So this multiple level of emotional engagement is something that we are not completely familiar with. We know about the physicals, or more what we could call the named emotions that are familiar to us when it comes to physicality. And these are very powerful tools to stay healthy, maintain the physicality in a form that doesn't change or things like that. And for that, we have to engage emotions that we are not that familiar with. So what that brings into view is that even with our children, even if when they're far apart from us, we can use those emotions. Those emotions that is not found by the physical proximity, that operate across the universe. So these are the children that we create far apart from us, or can we call them, bring them from time to time, in whatever way. It may not be even physical, close to us. So the same way with our closeness with our physicality and the soul of physicality and the soul of man, the emotions and the love, it's not unlike that with our children. And can we do better with children and our physical existence on this planet? Sure we can. And that's what we are doing here in Keshe Foundation with all the wishes and all the efforts that are being put in through participation in the transmutation experiment. So I encourage everybody to participate in their own way, whatever that way that you feel to be comfortable or suitable for you. The opportunities are there. And I mean, these 5 people that are being invited, they're us. We are connecting with them. So whatever their experience is our experience. So let's be helpful, and if they need energy, if we can offer some, we can give it to them. So whatever they create or manifest in this transmutation is their experiment as well as our experiment. We share. So the parallel between various interactions of souls. Locally, we have the soul of man and soul of physicality and physicality. And in a more social, physical sense, we have the children. And then we can, as we understand more about the soul, we can engage this interaction in a much deeper way with all, which includes this, our own being. Actually, that's where the work starts, because if we can be loving and smooth and relaxed in our interaction in this world, our envelope we call our own physicality, that is an environment where we can do things. And when those experiments become successful, it automatically reflects on our relationship with children. And there is no question about it. And things change. When we are comfortable with ourselves, our children are comfortable with us, because we are no longer stranger in understanding our own operation, which is not unlike the operation that we have with our children. The operation sounds clinical, I mean, but you get the point. But so this is one and we can do it with other people as well in the same way, friends. We can bring them closer. I mean, it doesn't have to be all the time. It can be just for one day. It can be for a few moments. It doesn't matter. But those interactions will be deep, and we can engage. We can bring into existence environment situations as we do when we are in this meeting of one nation, one planet, one race. We bring into operation or bring into existence situations that are conducive to peace and prosperity. So our inside experiments and our outside experiments are not any different. And so anyone, any area we engage our creative abilities, we enhance others. So if we engage in different way in different aspects of these parts of our lives, you can imagine the effect. It's not 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, a lot more, because we are dealing with the energy world where plasmas, it's not even multiplication, it's in the power range. So things happen in a very different way. And this is something for us to experience. Things don't happen in days at 0 time or close to 0 time. We don't even have to sometimes go to 0 time, but they do happen. And I'm talking from personal experience, and I'm sure many of you also have such experience. Anyway, so let's keep on adding to this experience and sharing it with others. Not necessarily verbally, or we can do even better. So it's fun to do it, and let's keep the fun alive and even add to it. All right, I will end here. Thank you very much. And Dean, would you like to add something?
Yeah, thank you, Mosfeq. Wonderful as always. Thank you for your insights and the beauty that you share. So what Mosfeq was talking about, let's just say this is a transmutation. Where do you like to go? If you have a connection to an emotion, then this may be close. Or maybe you can connect to your soul. And then where would the soul go? We know it has a direct connection to a creation point. So where do you need to go? To an emotion? Connected to an old emotion? And we all know this is physical. This is the soul of physicality. And this tends to be linked to the system of the matter. I wrote some of this down when I was when Mosfeq was thinking when he was speaking, sorry. And it's all dependent upon your view, where your emotion is in this moment. And is it this moment, or is it in the past or the future? So when you have a moment to yourself, when is this? Is it in the day or in the night? Or when you're about to soul travel? So that connection, that transmutation, for some of us, we're so busy in our lives, in our physical body, in everything we do, that we have no time to be present with ourselves within. The outside and all the conditions dictate the transmutation. So the viewpoint is limited. Limited mainly, not always, but mainly to an emotion that is linked to a matter condition that you've either experienced or you wish to experience. And that's dealing with the past and the present, and sorry, the past and the future. There was, I've been looking at some old stuff on YouTube, and there was some old technology, some ancient technology, and we all know this has come up with the pyramids and things. And in part of it, it was showing that some of the technology was shown and you can view the present technology that we have. And I thought to myself, was this transmutation the knowledge of the universe, not ancient technology, but present technology that, as we know, the universal community, there is no time. It's a transmutation present moment. And so when we look at those ancient monuments, those ancient stones, are we indeed looking at the future? It wasn't the past. It was being shown what was to come. As we know with plasma and with this technology, everything is magnetical and gravitational, and you have to have both. It's a two-way connection. That passage of energy transfer has to go both ways. It's called a magrav. It's called a condition where, like a torus field, it's going in and out. And it's not just one point. It's 360 all around us. And that transmutation, for most of us, is contained within the logical matter state of the brain. When we let go of that condition and that emotion tied to external outside influences, then we start to experience a different condition, a different transmutation. And the technology, and Mr. Keshe has been bringing this forward bit by bit, drip by drip, as and when humanity is open, willing, and ready to receive. We're all part of it. The technology is present as a transmutation for each of us to understand, to receive. We all have our sometimes expectations, and we know that we need to let go of those expectations. So when we don't formulate a position, when we let go, then the creation point becomes the totality, and the universe can respond and help you to receive what it is you need to gather the field strength to move, to transmute, to understand what transmutation really is. Each and every one of us will experience it completely different. We're all so unique, or so we believe. However, we're all under the within the structure of the creation. And whether you look at it as an atom or a universe, whether you look at it as your physical body, as a planet, whatever viewpoint you have, we're all in it, part of it. And so the centralized line of connection is present for us to tap into, be part of in each and every moment. We can all view in the magnetical or gravitational field, magnetic fields. And so where we direct, there's a great word, direct. As an actor, we're directing. As Mr. Keshe was speaking not so long ago, saying, do you want to take a back seat in the cinema, or do you want to come forward into the and be present with the universal community and experience the beauty? Because this gift, this huge gift, is being made available for mankind. And another quote from Mr. Keshe, mankind being kind to man. And when that moment really exists within inside your structure, we all, as one, transmute. There is no higher and no lower. It's for each of us to experience what we need to as a soul of physicality, if that's what you wish, or the soul of man. And it really depends on your emotional balance and your emotional position. Are you listening to the physical side of you, or are you connecting to the soul of man? And I know for many, they love the physicality. This is the human condition. And we wish the beauty to be present in this part right now. We need to make this part good. When we really truly understand, if we go to the soul aspect, and remember that the soul, being the boss, can direct and guide you so that the condition of the physicality can be the beauty in this moment. So the transmutation, the connection point, is not just a thought. It's an energy transfer connection to the universal condition of a creation. And we are all part of it. So thank you, Mosfeq, for your wonderful insights and what you spoke about. And for me, that transmutation process is ongoing. I've experienced it, and I know many of you are as knowledge seekers. And we are tapping into the beauty of what we really are. And I know that we all feel the presence of something bigger, an opening of the solar man, which is a plasma which has no limitation. And when we really connect to that unlimited ability, your wish is your command. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mosfeq. I think we can now move on. Thank you, Rick. Unless somebody else would like to say something.
Okay, we can move to the next section. Thank you, Dean. So this is needs and wishes from the local community, but we have a wish here that we're going to use, let's say, the wish is we, the Universal Council, give from our souls collectively to the peace in the Middle East in exchange for Keshe technology for all.
We are present, MOSFET.
I place all communities. You give you all needs to Universal Council to with Universal Council support your needs. I give.
Elizabeth, I think your connection is slightly off. So we got, things were broken a bit. So anyway.
Sorry, that's not the street, sorry.
Yeah, it's better now. Okay, so Rick, is there any questions or anything that we may need to address at this point? If
No, I
not,
don't see anything in the YouTube or our chats.
in that case, we can probably move to our last slide. I guess that would be the end of today's program. That's beyond this.
Okay.
Okay, so we conclude our program by mentioning that we are here to serve, not to be served. The Universal Council. Thank you very much for today's program, attending today's program, and we hope to connect with all of you next Tuesday in this One Nation, One Planet, One Race program. Goodbye.
Again, say thank you so much for all souls, all the time you unify with us, because we are the soul of the peace. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth and Mashfaq and Dean and others for another lovely workshop here. This has been the 373rd and a continuous weekly series of the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. Today, today's broadcast is Tuesday, April 8th. And we'll be back again next week, of course, with another program. And the next public teaching workshop is the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which I hold every week, and it starts at 7 a.m. Central European Summer Time. And we usually go for a few hours in that show and discuss things of the plasma nature. If you have any experiments or anything you're working on currently, that's a good place to show it and to get input from others that might be able to help with your project. Or if you have a topic you'd like to discuss, that's a good place for it as well. And
Enrique, you remember the next Monday is Testimonial Day.
yes, right. So let me just get the date on that. It's Monday the 14th will be their public meeting for testimonials. And if anyone has anything that's affected them from using the plasma technology, if you would like to tell that to the world and share your knowledge and share your experience, then the public meeting for testimonials is a perfect place to do that. That starts at 8 p.m. on the Monday, the 14th, and with the same same number for connecting on our Zoom. Okay, I think that's it for announcements. Again, thank you everybody for attending today's workshop, and thank you very much to the members and support members of the Universal Council for being here and for supporting us. Okay, let's move into our ending music here. We don't have Shweta enthusiastically engaging with it today, but maybe she's listening in the background. Okay, bye everyone. See you next time.